call the meeting to order. 7:30. I'd like to welcome everyone to the regular scheduled Port Clinton City Council meeting of September 22nd, 2020.
Madam President,
Yes, Mr. Elo.
move to proceed to roll.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I will second.
Thank you, Mrs. Hickman. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Gabe Belo,
Here.
Pat Hovis. Here. Beth Gilman.
Here.
Roseanne Hickman.
Present.
Brian Hill.
Here.
Margaret Phillips. Here. Jerry Trolley.
Present.
Thank you. Council, you were emailed the copy of the September 8th, 2020 meeting minutes. Do I have a motion to accept the minutes?
I move to accept the minutes.
Thank you, Ms. Phelps. Thank you, Mr. Trolley. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. The chair notes the certification has been made regarding compliance with the rules and notifications of this meeting. We have no guest presentation, public comment.
Marty Brown, 710 East Perry Street.
Thanks, Marty.
Far enough away I can talk without my mask better.
That would be fine.
I'm here again to bring to your attention the water sewer charges assessed to a housing provider or all housing providers in the city. And secondly, installation of proper shutoffs. Please refer to the printout. Notice the underlined penalties assessed. That paper was given to me yesterday. Does not include charges for the current billing cycle. Notice the part circled. The tenant paid the back, not current. Notice the arrow. She paid the back charges with a shut-off threat that was made to her on August 5th. But notice she was not required to pay the two penalties of $794 from June, that's underlined, and the $1102 from July, which is underlined, which are now added to my penalty, which totals $44.68, which is also underlined. Give a chance to look that over and see if you have any questions. It said she has vacated the premises. You see the bill says $367.40, which I don't believe reflects the bill that will be coming in the next several days. And she has moved away at my request and left no forwarding address, so there's no way of collecting it other than from me. Okay, go on with my presentation. Last week I was discussing evictions with Judge Haney. He's the former judge of Common Pleas Court. He told me, and then sent me information, stating that the only reason legally to evict is non-payment of rent. That's at this time. Even if the rental agreement says the tenant will pay for water and sewer charges, the landlord cannot evict for that reason if the bill is not paid. Earlier this month, Julie from the water department called to say the tenant at 424 Short Street had not paid her bill. That's when she was still residing there. But the city would not shut off the water since that house is connected to a line which services apparently the whole block. Why hasn't the city separated the water lines so that there are separate shutoffs? I also asked her where the shut-off is for that house. She called me today to say the shut-off is on the corner of Fifth and Short Streets. That's 3 houses away from my rental. In conclusion, I am again asking that you reconsider the charging the property owner penalty charges accrued by a tenant. And I'm asking that the city install proper shut-offs for separate houses so that a tenant could be shut off for non-payment or a homeowner could be shut off for any other reasons. Thank you. Any questions?
Mayor, I know this has been a concern. Do you want to explain about the shut-offs and stuff, or?
I can't see you, sorry.
Oh, I am, I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm sorry.
This, I mean, we know that this is an issue. It's not just there, it's all over the city.
Right.
They've talked about doing stuff like that. I don't know, without Mr. Colston here, I don't know, I mean, that's an administration would do, you know, if they needed, whatever they needed would come to council. That's not a council decision. So did you talk to Mr. Colston about this?
I have talked just to Julie about it, and she says that I can always put it in and pay for it myself.
I don't know how the rentals work with water or anything, to be honest with you. I mean, that's not something that comes before.
Well, according to your bylaws, I am responsible when the tenant doesn't pay their water. When you move out and leave a water bill, I'm responsible for it.
I understand, I do know that, but as far as how they do it, that's up to the water department.
Well, and I'm just asking that you would, I don't know, possibly have an ordinance or something, so at least I don't have to pay the late fees. I don't know why she didn't have to pay them when she paid her other bill.
That would be, again, a question, I mean, for the water department.
Well,
We don't
they're saying pay it.
So I don't know, Mayor, I don't know, are you aware of anything, or?
I don't know why the late fees weren't asked for, but I can address there are approximately 140 shared services in the city. Now, I don't know if that means 140 individual residences or 140 incidences where there's one shut off for multiple dwellings. Currently, the bylaws state that unless there's a water line leak after the shut off, the city is not forcing property owners to change those. Ultimately, though, it is the responsibility of those individuals that share that one shutoff to make individual taps. There's one instance right now on either Jackson or Monroe where there was a leak discovered, and those 3 property owners are installing their own taps.
At their own cost.
At their own cost, correct. Anything beyond the shutoff is the property owner's responsibility.
And also, there's an additional problem with the COVID. It used to be that if 2 people were on one pit in front of, say a duplex, and they each had their individual meters inside their house, which we installed, and they didn't pay their water bill, the city would go in with us and turn it off. But now, because of the virus, they won't do that. And that would be this case on Short Street, because the meter, the meter reading is done outside, but the old meter is inside the laundry room. And they could have, before the virus, gone in with my accompaniment and shut off the meter, but that can't be done now because of the virus. So there's an additional problem.
Thank you, Mrs. Brown. We'll move on to executive officer reports. The next council meeting will be, which is on October 13th, will be at the Portland High School in the PAC at 7:30. And the mayor can discuss further what's going to happen at that meeting. Additionally, there are 2 new ordinances, 24-20 and 25-20. 24-20 is assigned to finance, 25-20 is assigned to economic and community development, which I stated before. And that is all I have this evening. Mr. Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. President. Stand up here. You know, for the past week, I've had the number one, well, actually, probably number two question. Number one question is what I think of the Buckeyes this year. But the number two question has been, are we going to have trick or treat this year? And the answer is, of course, so. So we'll start it tonight if you want to take one and pass it around. Well, or two. Main Street and the Chamber are going to have their trick or treat on the 31st in downtown Port Clinton from 1 to 4. And then the community trick or treating will take place from 4 to 6. Friday, the State of Ohio Department of Health came out with some guidelines. I've submitted a proposal to the Ottawa County Board of Health, just waiting on a response. Once they give the okay, which I anticipate they will because it's very similar to what they're planning downtown, with some suggestions. We'll get those postings out there. But on Halloween, downtown 1 to 4, and a community trick or treat 4 to 6. I want to go to the suggestions. I'll wait till they authorize it. And then that evening, going back to the Ohio State thing, down at Mom, we anticipate that the Ohio State Penn State football game will be an 8 o'clock kickoff, so we'll have that on the Jumbotron downtown. Likewise, the Port Clinton Redskin games, as long as they're playing football, will be on the Jumbotron Friday night. The picnic tables that 13 different individuals and families donated money towards, we ordered those back in June. They were slated to be here at the end of July. They arrived today. So on a rainy day, city crews will start to put those together. We may put a few more downtown at Mom, put a few more around about the community, and then definitely they'll all be out next spring. The other day, Mr. Colson and I had an opportunity to meet with the Friends of Ottawa County Parks. They have put a 0.6 mil park levy on the ballot for years, decades. Ottawa County has had a park commission, but it's never been active. Their goal is to get that active, generate approximately $1 million a year in this through this levy. It will do a couple of things. It will obviously bring money into Ottawa County dedicated for parks. They have plans to put bike trails, walking trails throughout Ottawa County. It will also allow municipalities, political subdivisions, to draw down some of those dollars in grants, leverage what's received from the Ottawa County Parks grants towards state and federal dollars to help improve the parks throughout the community. I have made a request to have this group come and speak to the entire council prior to Election Day. Not the next meeting, but the one after that, the 27th, I believe is the date that we're targeting. I've also asked Mr. Schenker to work on a resolution of support that I hope to have in front of council for its first reading at the next council meeting, and hope that you will take action on its second reading prior to Election Day to show your support for this 0.6 mil countywide levy. CARES money. Some of the money that was allocated from the CARES went to the fire department for a Life Pack 15. You can take that if you like and pass it around. That's a picture of it. It looks like a giant boombox to me, but it's a life-saving piece of equipment that hooks onto a patient, sends information directly to Magruder Hospital to assist them. The fire department has purchased 2 of those, one through CARES money, the other one through donations and the Firefighters Association. It's a $36,000 piece of equipment that fits in a backpack. It's amazing. Citywide cleanup again will be on Saturday the 17th of October. Saturday the 17th from 8 a.m. until 3. Again, like it was in the spring, we'll be at City Hall. And again, because of COVID-19 issues, city crews won't be able to help individuals take their items out of the car, but they will be there with the big equipment to take them, put it in the bucket, they'll put them in the dumpster and go from there. Again, that's the 17th, Saturday the 17th at City Hall from 8 to 3. Cemetery cleanup will be on October 1st. Then starting on the 7th of October, legal items can be placed back at the gravesite. Again, October 1st will be the citywide cleanup, or the cemetery cleanup, and then legal items, and don't ask me what those are, because I don't know off the top of my head. You can call City Hall for that list. presuming you put stuff out there, you know what those legal items are, can be put back out there on the 7th of October. Moving on to Jefferson Street, there are still two final things that are waiting to be done, and we're waiting on parts to come in from overseas. The new pump station on North Jefferson Street, the fencing, is still being shipped from who knows where and how long it's going to take. No one's really sure. And if you notice, the lights aren't on yet. They're waiting for the, it's called the junction box, whatever it is, that box that sits on the ground. That's going to go in the 200 block on the west side near the alley. Waiting on that to come in. But once that's installed, that same day lights will be on in the Jefferson Street project. Mrs. Schenker, myself, potentially Tracy, or Mr. Colston, and Mr. Hatfield have contacted the various homeowners associations in Port Clinton to have a sit down with them to talk about bed tax, dock tax, and the infrastructure project. We're hoping to have those completed in the next couple of weeks. We've confirmed appointments for 5 of the 9 homeowners associations, and we hope to get all of them. Now, not all of them deal with dock tax, and not all of them deal with bed tax, but we're going to talk to all of them so they can make themselves aware of how they can help us and what their responsibilities are for that. We're closing some of the holes that we've discovered in that process. And then finally, October 13th, the city council meeting will be moved to the PAC as Mrs. Sardi indicated. Togemeyer Design Group will be there in attendance that evening to talk about the infrastructure project. We anticipate the first reading of the ordinance, moving that on. Still working on some issues of capacity. Health Department is investigating what our capacity on that will be. I believe the posted capacity is 871. Obviously, it's going to be a lot less than that. Doors will open at 7 o'clock to the public, and again, I encourage all of you to have folks attend that to ask questions. It's a process that we've been working on for well over a year and a half now. We've had 6 or 7 public meetings. It's been discussed in this body a couple of times. You gave authorization to move forward, so we're closer than ever to fixing our streets and our infrastructure. So with that, hopefully you enjoy the candy. Make sure it gets all the way around, and have a good evening. Any questions? Anybody want another piece of peanut butter cup?
Mayor Snyder,
Yes, ma'am.
the October 13th meeting, because the anticipated being larger, will that be somehow live streamed or something on the city's page?
We haven't talked about that, but that was going to be something I was going to mention, because they do have the technology.
Yes.
Other question? No, I'm good with 2.
Okay.
I don't want to spoil my the email situation,
Still,
please talk about it.
I don't know the actual cause. Mr. Hatfield and third-party technicians are investigating. It's still not remedied. Since I left council, I've gotten 75 emails. Or since I left work today, I've gotten 75 just random emails. I know they're going out to everybody else. I'm not sure what the reason is.
Are you just going out to other city email accounts or outside?
No, outside. Yeah. I don't know if you guys been getting phone calls from people. I just had a strange email from them. It's nothing, I don't believe at this point anything vindictive. And if everybody would spread the word, you may see an email from PC Mayor at portclinton-oh. Blah, 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 and then a whole bunch of letters and numbers after that. That's a fictitious email. If you don't mind, Mrs. Osterman, do you have any updates?
Should we not discuss that there is a virus?
Or
I mean,
Mr.
he had Buckeye Tuck here.
Yes, it is a virus. It's not malicious, but since it's went out, I am now getting emails from other agencies from our city email address. So it has infected quite a lot. So the only suggestion I have is if you get an email, when you see it, it'll say from Chief Rob Hickman, but look at the email address, it'll say something Concrete Customs
Yeah.
or something like that.
They're
What
right.
I've been doing is just blocking them and putting them in the junk.
Yeah. They're all random. They could say anything. Taiwan, concrete, jumping jacks, anything. If it's not PC and so, Port Clinton -gov, don't open it. Just don't.
My virus program caught it, but for whatever reason, the server is still, and we're not even sure if it came from us. We noticed it because I got an email from the mayor.
Yeah.
that looked official, and it was official
But I
back
said
in
it.
January.
January, yeah.
Right, they're emails that were technically sent from our people. They have hacked in somehow, got some way into it. We think it's not through our server, but through cross.net. But that's not been confirmed yet, but that's the only suggestion we have right now. It's ongoing, and we have no idea when it'll be fixed, if it can be fixed.
I got an email from Sandy saying that they would be installing cooling stations tomorrow. And I thought, oh my God, what is happening? I looked at the button, and I'm like, it's gonna be 105. What is she talking about?
Violate the numbers.
Yeah, I'm like, whoa, we're getting cooling stations. Okay.
So obviously, the biggest concern is, like the chief said, external agencies receiving stuff from us and
Yeah.
what happens after that, so appreciate any updates and thanks for trying to, thank
You're welcome.
thank you.
Anybody else have any questions? For dock tax, it's $27,450. Bed tax is $121,564.25. Law director is not here. Chief Hickman.
Nothing tonight, Madam President.
Thank you. Committee reports. Finance, Mr. Gilo.
Thank you, Madam President. We'll be scheduling the finance committee to take up the ordinance here and resolve what will be done with the additional CARES Act distribution that the city received. And that will be announced through the normal channels. Thank you.
The economic and community development.
Sure, the flight competition is still ongoing. I think there's been 3 or 4 submissions that the community received, and thanks to Ms. Ostheimer for helping receive those. And encourage everyone to share the word and provide submissions. We'll be having another meeting to take up ordinance 25, as you discussed. And that'll be announced through normal channels once the date is set. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Mrs. Hickman, Environment and Public Works.
Nothing tonight, Madam President, thank you.
Ms. Phillips, Safety and Services.
Nothing tonight, thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Mrs. Gilman, Arts and Culture.
Nothing tonight, Madam President.
Thank you. Correspondence, everyone received a copy of the notification of the filing of the audit report. Do I have a motion to accept correspondence as stated?
So moved.
To accept the correspondence. Thank you, Ms. Phillips. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
His name is Otis. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Thank you, motion carries. We'll move on to ordinances and resolutions. Will the clerk please read by title and summary only for the third reading, resolution 20-8.
Resolution 20-8, a resolution accepting the amounts and rates as determined by the Budget Commission and authorizing necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor.
Thank you. Does council wish to take any action as to resolution 20-8?
Madam President,
Yes, Mr. Beal?
move to adopt resolution 20-8.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Mr. Trolley. Any discussion? Seeing none, we have a motion by Mr. Beal to adopt resolution 20-8, seconded by Mr. Trolley. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Jerry Trolley,
Yes.
Brian Hill,
Yes.
Margaret Phillips,
Yes.
Roseanne Hickman,
Yes.
Ted Hovis,
Yes.
Beth Gilman,
Yes.
Dave Belo.
Yeah.
Thank you. Resolution 20-8 is adopted with a vote of 7-0. Second reading of ordinances and resolutions. Would the clerk please read by title and summary only, ordinance 23-20.
Ordinance 23-20, an ordinance amending section 1323.03, 1323.04, and 1323.041 of chapter 1323 of the codified ordinances of the city of Port Clinton.
Thank you. Does council wish to take any action as to ordinance 23-20 this evening? Seeing none, it will be moved to its third reading on October 13th. Now move on to first readings of ordinances and resolutions. Would the clerk please read by title and summary only, ordinance 24-20.
Ordinance 24-20, an ordinance amending ordinance number 01-20 of the City of Port Clinton and adjusting accounts within the City of Port Clinton.
Thank you. Does council wish to take any action as to ordinance 24-20? Seeing none, it will be moved to its second reading on October 13th. Will the clerk please read ordinance 25-20 by title and summary only?
Ordinance 25-20, an ordinance amending section 1147.02 of chapter 1147 of the codified ordinance of the City of Port Clinton and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Does council wish to take any action as to ordinance 25-20? Seeing none, it will be moved to its second reading on October 13th. We'll move to business from the floor. Mrs. Osheimer, after the mayor can figure out capacity and everything, could you please post that that next meeting will be
Yeah.
on October 13th to give enough time and once we figure all that out? Thank you.
Correct.
Mrs. Hovis.
Do you know when the light will be turned off at the park?
Safety Service Director Colson and I talked about that. With the weather like it is and people still utilizing the beach, we're gonna leave it operational, as long as we have warm weather, and then we will turn it off. But I will send you all an email with the upcoming date when we so decide to do that.
Thank you.
But will it really be from you?
Yeah.
He'll call you.
I'm addressing that with our tech.
Thank
Send a carrier figure.
you. Old-fashioned way. Thank you. Mr. Trolley?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, the status of the Safe Routes to School project.
Still on target for shovel in the ground next spring.
Thank you, that's all.
Ms. Phillips?
Thank you, Madam President. Since we've made a shift in where the next meeting will be, which is the second Tuesday of the month, I'm going to cancel the Safety and Service Committee, because I think it'd be too hard to hold. All right? Thank you.
Mr. Hill?
Nothing for me, thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Gilman?
Thank you, Mrs. Sardi. The car bingo that was mentioned, a few months ago, they're gonna have another one on October 23rd from 5 to 6 p.m. at the Sutton Center in the parking lot. It was a great turnout last time they did it. Everybody was in their cars, socially distanced. It'll be a fun event. I encourage you all to just check it out. Main Street Port Clinton met last week and they discussed, among other things, upcoming plans for 2021. They're optimistic. We have Tuckahoe Festival contracts. They talked about the Moore contract, renewing that, some potential changes they might have. That's still going very well. And it was the Halloween, but Mayor has already addressed the times of that. They're going to have that downtown. So, and there's some kind of witches event planned to walk with local businesses. But good stuff happening and tongue-tied with my mask. Good things happening in downtown despite COVID, and everybody seems to be complying with the social distance regulations.
Thank you. Mr. Buelow?
Thank you, Madam President. As we come up to the October, the next meeting, we work with us to make sure that the council has some type of pre-read material from Coleman. Ahead of that meeting, so we can develop any questions.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam President.
Writing notes, a second. I didn't forget who she was. Mrs. Hickman?
Mrs. Vice President?
Oh, who was raising it? Who was raising his hand? The mayor? Oh, mayor?
And just to answer Mr. Below's, Pogomar is aware of the request to have information ahead of time, and they'll get it to everybody.
Great, thank you.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Madam President, I move this August body adjourn.
Second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Buelow. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign?
Aye.
I guess we can. Motion carried.